The Blues Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
Skating on the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In rubber tongues, we find our glory. His skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington, we put our trust to the test. On the ice, we fight and we must, for the city we love. In the blue, no we'll thrust.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 137 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews. The Blues Fan Forum podcast is presented by Scooters Coffee. Blues fans can score amazing drinks such as the Signature Caramelicious, served hot, ice, or blended, with world-class espresso, fruit smoothies, Scoot Energy infusions, and so much more. That's amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast Scooters Coffee. I'm your host today, Dakota. Today. Joining me as the co-host, Jacob. Not usually the co-host, but what's going on, buddy?
I kind of like this hanging out in the background. You're going through those ad reads, and I'm petting my dog. This is fun.
And then today's guest, some of you guys know him as our guest from episode 107. I know him as Dad. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Greetings from St. Louis, everybody, and Jacob. Greetings from St. Louis to Illinois.
Yeah, on the IL side.
The other side of the river. Well, guys, we have an absolute metric F-ton to talk about. I know we say this every podcast, but I wish we were coming together on some better news, such as the Blues having a 5-game winning streak, but that is not the case. We have we won 2 of the last 5? Yeah, we'll just call it 2 of the last 5. We recorded last week on Monday, which was the night that we played Edmonton. We're going to go over a little recap of the week in review. So we're going to touch on the Edmonton game. We'll go over Washington, what an abysmal start that was to that game. We'll go over Buffalo. And then I'm sure the game that everybody wants to hear our 2 cents on, we'll talk about the Seattle Kraken game. So first, let's touch on the Edmonton game. A little preview of that. Usually the Blues always do, I say, decently well against that team. Usually we play Edmonton pretty hard. It's like a playoff game for us, which I think is great. It's a good measuring stick for how the team's going. So obviously going into that game, the Blues have been doing an absolute, we've had an absolute shit start to the season. But what did you see from that Edmonton game? If you did watch it, if not, what did you see from the highlights, and kind of what was your perspective going into to that game? And then obviously we'll talk about the result.
You know, honestly, I didn't see much of that game. I saw some of the highlights. I like that game. I honestly, in my head, was thinking, I don't think the Blues have a chance to win this game. You know, Edmonton's a good team. They got a lot of good players on there. But I was kind of shocked when I saw the highlights. I thought they played a really good game, a real strong game. I think that's the team that needs to show up every night. We're getting the teams that are showing up that are inconsistent, as shown by their record. But that Edmonton game, I didn't see any of the game. Like I said, I just saw the highlights. But from what I saw in the highlights, I like their effort.
There's I can't talk tonight, guys. I'm sorry. So there's a statistic in that game that I want to touch on that I think is kind of amazing if you want to talk about the players we're going to talk about. But it's Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and I believe there was one more
Nugent Hopkins
on that. Yeah, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Yep.
The Blues are the only team in the NHL to have held those 3 players without a shot. playing together on the same team. Only team in the NHL. I think they played a combined 580 games, give or take. I know it was 500 plus. But
Yeah, it was a lot. I remember I was going to bring that stat up too because I remember seeing that. But yeah, that was very, very impressive when I saw that. And I even posted during the game that it was a joke, obviously, but also kind of real because Robert Thomas was dominating that game on the defensive end, just taking pucks away from McDavid, from Draisaitl, from Nugent Hopkins, from whoever they had on the ice. And I put on there that Robert Thomas should win a Selke just for his play in that game. And then after the game, that stat came out that it was the first time ever that those three players have played a game together and none of them got a shot on net, which was amazing. So, just amazing. I don't know. Amazing, I think, is the only word I can come up with for that.
And that's the thing is like the statistic didn't make sense for our team, right? Like we've allowed goals in large amounts throughout the entire start of our first 14 games this year. We've had teams put 7 on us, 8 on us, and to hold those guys who are always in the talks of being some of the tops in the NHL, McDavid and Draisaitl are always in the MVP vote. But to hold those guys, especially with how we started this year, to no shots, I feel like is something to improve upon, but also use as a stepping stone. Be like, look, guys, we have the defensive ability to be locked down. We can lock down just about any team, especially the McDavids and the Draisaitl's. We can talk about the McKinnons and the McCarrs, but like use that and build upon that. So we win against Edmonton, right? Beat Edmonton in the old sweaters. We'll talk about that at some point in this podcast.
That's the key. That's the key.
We'll beat them in the old sweaters. I made the joke that I was like, maybe we're going to beat Edmonton and tonight. And I thought last podcast I misspoke and I was like, hey, we're wearing the New Jerseys, and Jacob, definitely referenced the fact that we were not, and that's probably why we did win. But we beat Edmonton, right? We beat Edmonton. We're riding high. Then we go into Washington, and I mean, I don't really think there's much to talk about other than the fact that Benner gets the quick pull.
Mm-hmm.
Benner gets the quick pull. I wouldn't say quick. I would say it was heavily calculated, but like our goaltenders have just been something that has been lackluster. It's kind of sad because I feel like we do have a decent amount of – I feel like our goaltenders are not ranked where they should be. We're not playing where we should be in the ranks as far as goals against average and save percentage or whatnot. But Benner gets the hook. Joel Hofer comes in, lets in 2, I believe. But there wasn't much to show for that game. I just feel like the guys came out with no gas. What was your take? What was your perspective of how the Blues came out in game 2 or against the Washington game?
So I'll answer that in a minute, but I just want to state when the Blues play the Capitals and Ovechkin's on the ice, the Blues, for some reason, he has the Blues number for some reason. He's got some really good numbers against the Blues.
A lot of teams.
Yeah.
900 goals.
But I think especially against the Blues. But, it's kind of flat, I mean, just chasing guys, maybe not the puck and chasing guys around. I didn't see a lot of good effort by the whole team, maybe a couple guys. But overall, I just felt like they looked a little bit beat down. Not even going into the game. I think after the first period, second and third period, but you got to play a full 60 minutes. And I think in that game, I think they kind of they took their foot off the gas a little bit and were playing on their heels more so than on their toes. And when you do that in the NHL, your fate is pretty much sealed. You're probably not going to win too many games if you play like that.
2 things I wanted to touch on. I wanted to ask you about this, Jacob, because I know you're pretty in-depth when it comes to watching the games. Did you notice that the ice seemed a bit chippy or choppy for both sides? I noticed a lot of guys not catching a clean edge. I noticed a lot of guys, especially the Blues, handling the puck in the neutral zone. They'd get a puck or they turn over a puck and then it bounced back the other way. Guys were having a hard time really taking it from the heel to the toe. it would slide off, or and vice versa. Like I'm not going to blame the ice conditions on the Blues playing like absolute dog shit, but did you notice that throughout the game of the ice being kind of choppy?
I don't know if I noticed that in that game necessarily, as I've noticed it happen often. And it doesn't seem to affect both teams. It seems to only affect the Blues. And so I don't know if it's an ice issue. I think it's more of maybe a skill issue. But there's times that I think the next game, even when we played Buffalo or when we played Edmonton or definitely when we played Washington, where they have just 4 or 5 minutes of offensive zone time and they are just passing the puck. And it's almost more like a video game, because in the video game, they don't mess up. Like when you make that pass, it connects. And that's what they're doing. And then we try to break one out and we pass it right to the guy, or we have a bad touch on our stick and it ends up going right next to the guy. So I don't know if I've noticed it because of ice conditions. I think I've just noticed it because we can't seem to handle a puck and other teams can handle it like they're professionals, which makes sense.
And usually they do those like mid-game interviews, and I can't remember who interviewed who, but I know Jim Montgomery was interviewed, but I believe pre-Ovechkin goal, and was like, I think our team's going to turn it around here. He scores 900. The fans go crazy. The team comes off the bench, greets him on the ice, whatnot. The whole celebration, great. We're getting to witness one of the greatest goal scorers, at least of my generation. I know my dad, is old as shit, so he got to witness Gretzky. But, I'm getting to witness Alexander Ovechkin breaking, the single most, goals in the NHL. So 900 is pretty cool. But then the team just kind of falls flat, right? I think I see it from both perspectives of being like, holy shit, we just saw 900. That's great. Let's take that and just like, let's ruin the fans' night. But Washington took that and was like, we are going to run away with this. And they did. They throttled the Blues in the second and third period, and they gave us no room to breathe. So did you want to touch on Alexander Ovechkin's 900th, or you want to just swing by that?
Obviously a great feat. The only player in NHL history to score 900 goals. I think we can't have a Blues hockey podcast and not talk about Jordan Binnington trying to steal the puck after he scores his 900th. Whether he was purposely trying to steal the puck or if he was just, making a joke. I think he did come out and say, he goes, well, I pretty much assisted him on it, so I probably should get the puck. So that was just interesting. And I think part of just I think it's more of just the dry humor that Binnington has. And so I think that's kind of where it was. Also just sticking it in his pants. Like,
he's saving it for the mantle later, that's a good conversation piece. Got people coming over like, hey, what's that significance of that puck? Oh, that just so happens to be the 900th goal.
Right.
That's going to go to the Hall of Fame, or maybe
Ovechkin's keeping it and then might donate it to the Hall of Fame.
I wanted to touch on this, and I'm so glad that he got 900 because, and not that I really care, but I care for hockey's perspective. He breaks it last year. He gets 900 this year. He knows he's not going to be playing in the Olympics, and that probably, I'm sure for him, is like, that fucking sucks.
It does.
Which I think it sucks for the NHL purpose, and I do think it sucks for just hockey in general, right? Like, you got one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, who unfortunately will probably not be in the Olympics, and probably will be his last Olympics ever. I know they played, was it 10 years ago they allowed NHL players in to the Olympics, and he has played in Olympics before, but knowing that he won't be participating this year is kind of like probably weighing on his mind. But knowing that he's got 900 and nobody's probably ever taken that away from him is definitely something to be talked about.
I think playing for his country is up there with him breaking that record last year. I think it is. I think it really does affect him. I think if there's anything the NHL could do to make an exception, to make him, to make an exception for him to play in the Olympics, they would do it, but they can't. Their hands are tied. But it does suck. I think for the NHL, and I think for NHL fans out there, I think everybody, including all three of us, would love to see him on the ice in the Olympics.
Even last year, we could have made it the Five Nations face-off. But I would imagine if Russia was not doing what they're doing in a real world perspective, and we're just focused on hockey. If we could have got Russia in there, maybe it wasn't going to be the 4 nations face off, and they would have had 6 teams or would have included more teams. Because I don't think you can do a World Cup of Hockey style tournament and not include Russia in it.
Sure,
because they have some of the best players in the world, including Ovechkin. So you would either have to put them in and then take out Finland, I guess.
I mean, you could even include like you go 6 and go Slovakia and Russia.
Right. Yeah. So
we shall see. But now we fast forward. We had a back-to-back. Hofer stood on his head after playing in and coming in relief in the Washington game. Joe Hofer gets the nod and plays, I would say, probably his best game of the year, obviously, because we haven't had a large sample size of good games for the Blues. But I feel like just one, the team needed this game, and 2, he needed this game. He needed a game where he could literally just stand on his head and prove to a lot of us fans that are doubters. And Sam, if you're watching, this is my time to talk really good about Joe Hofer. Is to kind of like put him back on that pedestal of like, okay, like you are a 1B. Like you might not be 1A right now, but you are a definitive 1B. What was your takeaway from that Buffalo game, and what did you see from Joe Hofer that you liked?
Here's what I liked. In tight games, and we see this all the time, your goalie has to be your best player on the ice. And Joel Hofer was the best player on the ice that night. That's my takeaway. Mm-hmm. In a nutshell. That's it, plain and simple. He played really well. He played really well the last couple games, actually. Mm-hmm. And I think Jordan Binnington is going to have some really good games here too. I know we're battling some demons right now, but I think that game, I think Joel Hofer stood on his head. I think he had a hell of a game. And he deserves to be our, like you said, 1A, 1B, whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's my take on that. What about you, Jacob?
Just got to show Dakota that, of course, Sam is watching. We have a couple comments on here, but we can finish this game and then we can kind of go through those. As far as the Buffalo game, I know there was a couple times that Buffalo had power plays. And Joel Hofer is the reason that they didn't score. Like, it wasn't that we had a good penalty kill. It was that Joel Hofer was in net, and that was the reason they didn't score. Buffalo is not a good team. They just, for some reason, cannot figure out how to put it together. But they have a massive amount of high talent players. And so it's a team that should be able to score. So just because they're not a good hockey team and they lose a lot of games, shutting them out is still a very significant milestone for Hofer, especially with how he's been playing previously. I will maybe argue that the first game Hofer played in this year when we played the Flyers and he won might have been his best game, but Buffalo is still a really good game and still a really good shutout. Because some people might look at that and be like, yeah, well, it's the Sabres. It's like, but they still have Tage Thompson, who would get 30 or 40 goals. Like, they still have Alex Tuck. They still have 2 former first overall picks in Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power. So it's like they're still really good.
I mean, I think the big takeaway too that I've noticed, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, at some point down the line, kind of being like our Achilles heel, but our defense has really showed up, even though we're not seeing it on paper per se. But like, if you look at block shots, like, I know as a goaltender, I'm sure the goalie's best friend is the post, but the second best friend overall is probably going to be your defenseman or your forwards jumping up in front of the puck and making sure that, one, they're taking away the low area of the ice. So you got the top half, they got the bottom half. But also making sure that your defensemen or your forwards are in really good spots. For one, you can see the puck if it gets through. But 2, also making sure that if they do lay down, we're going the other way with a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. And I have definitely seen the Blues be active in blocking shots. They talk about it every single game, whether it be Justin Falk taking one on the inside of the leg. They talk about Nathan Walker taking one off the shoulder because he's so short that when he bends down, it's not going to his leg, it's going to his face. But seeing that as a team can only make the goaltender, I feel better about himself, right? Like, if you're only seeing 18 pucks a game, when your team's blocking 18 of those, I mean, shit, he could be seeing 40 pucks, but he's not. He's only seeing half. So that was, for me, that was one of the big takeaways I saw and really, really appreciated, because if like you said last podcast, we're not scoring goals, like at least start doing some of the good things right, and maybe the other things might start falling through for you. Did you want to touch on some of those questions or statements coming through?
Let's see what we got. Well, Sam's working on getting me some more signatures on my Thunderbirds banner, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Thanks, Sam. I've never seen this before. I guess we're getting comments on YouTube now.
Nice.
And so Kiara is saying, "What is this? What are you doing, bro?" So when she said bro, I was like, is that someone you know? It's not someone I know.
I do not know.
I was like, is that like a good friend of somebody? I don't know. Mike, maybe you're close with Kiara?
No.
So what is
No,
this? What is this? Is a good question. We're a Blues podcast.
Yeah.
We're talking Blues hockey.
And there was
Yeah.
there was a weird spike
that this
in
person responded. So
yeah, right. There's a weird spike in viewership. So like we got the little eye at the top, and it got up to like 18 or 19, which sadly we're normally at like 4 or 5. So I was like, whoa, like some people are watching this, and then they all went away. So let's see. We also had Otter, which would be really cool if it was Steve, but I'm going to find it unlikely since the picture is a monkey, but just Otter is here. So glad he's here.
yeah,
All right.
for sure.
So yeah, we got all that. And then Hofer's shutout was actually Sam's first Blues game watching. So maybe she's come over to the dark side because the Thunderbirds are still, I don't think, doing very well. So we have more wins than the Thunderbirds do, which is not good.
That's okay. I believe that better victories are ahead for both teams. I know that they just signed Milan Lucic to a PTO and signed him officially, I believe, because he did touch the ice.
He did.
But I'm not too sure about the statistics on that or what that entails. But hey, congrats on getting Milan Lucic, the Wish version of him. But better things ahead for both teams involved. Hey, if the AHL is doing great and we are too, then we're doing our jobs, because at some point those boys they're gonna be coming up and seeing us in St. Louis. Let's touch on the biggest game of the week. I say the biggest game because I hate the Kraken. For some reason, they always have our numbers. Don't know what it is. Maybe it's Matty Beniers. Maybe it's Jaden Schwartz. Maybe it's Vince Dunn, who just wants to run basically amok. We just can't seem to get it done against the Kraken. So I believe this might be a game that was like our I don't know what I want to say here. I want to say it was a good start overall. It just it played into the Blues MO. We start off pretty hot. We kind of control the game a little bit, but then we just kind of fall onto our heels. And for those of you, I'm going to bring up an old wound, rub some dirt on it though, because I do think better days are ahead. But this kind of gave the feeling of last game of the season for us against Winnipeg. And so we're going to fast forward past the bad part, and we'll talk about the good part first. I think the Blues kind of came out hot. I think that 3-0 victory against Buffalo they used it as a momentum, if you want to call it that, because we only had one win, streak. But then for some reason, we just kind of let the game get away from us. I felt like we started doing the bad things really well, like turning over the puck in the neutral zone. We were extending our shifts. We had guys on the ice for 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Like, what are we doing? If you don't have fresh bodies on the ice, you're just going to end up coughing up some goals. And I believe that's what we did. I felt like the defense played okay. We're just not winning the board battles. I think we're playing a really hard game. But if you're not coming away with the puck most times, like, you're going to end up being on the losing side of the score sheet. But what did you see from that game?
We didn't touch on this, but 25 sat the game before.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out. He gets the call, and he comes out, plays against the Kraken. I'll tell you what, 25 I think he had a good game. He played both ends of the ice pretty well. I was really impressed with his play. If we can get that out of him game in and game out, I think our team is going to be better. A couple takeaways from that game. I felt like I thought we came out of the gate hot. I thought we were really playing well. few hiccups here and there, a few giveaways here and there. I thought overall we had a good game, but the end of the game, midway between the third and then that last 10 minutes of the third, I could tell that there was the momentum was shifting, and it was going the Kraken's way. What were we up 2-0 in that game, right? Up early,
Yep.
right? 2-0. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And then they kind of battled back.
2-0, got it to 2-2, and then I believe it was 3-2, 3-3, and then
Yep. So anyway, I thought they played good enough to win. I just thought I thought they didn't play a full 60 and took the foot off the gas there toward the end. That last 10 minutes of the third period has been killing us lately.
Jacob, what was your perspective before you talk about the elephant in the room?
I want to add, I don't know if we're getting like new views on YouTube or something, but it's your boy Ayure, A-U-R-E, I don't know, says, what the hell is this? So again, like Dakota said, it's a hockey podcast. Thanks for watching, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. We finally hit the YouTube algorithm.
I guess we've been posted on YouTube for weeks now. So, I mean, it's not new, but I guess new people are finding it. That game, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it because I was at actually Ben Howard's baby shower. So Ben used to be the co-host right when I first started. And he actually said a funny thing at the baby shower. He goes, Steve, this is why I couldn't be on the podcast, because I'd say stuff that probably shouldn't be said on a microphone about this Blues team. Because he's very passionate. So,
good.
Yeah. So they were shooting guns. We were drinking beer, eating chili, hot dogs, bratwurst. So we were having a good time. We did have the game on. So I got to catch, the 2 goals up 2-0 at the end of the first period, kind of excited, being like, all right, we just shut out Buffalo before this, and now we're going in.
Yeah.
Then we give up the 2, and then I think it's when it gets to the point where we're up by 1 goal, and it's that last 10 minutes, it's that last 5 minutes. We're not trying to win the game anymore. We're trying to not lose. And I think that's the big issue. And I understand, get the puck, get the red line, dump it in, get your change. Like, let's stay fresh. But can we stay fresh offensively and not, just continue to play defense? Because especially with the puck luck that we've had this year, like, we don't want to give people even shitty chances because those shitty chances are going in. So we need to limit as many chances as we can, which means if we can get a puck and dump it in and then still have a forecheck and chase it, let's go get that forecheck and have that forecheck instead of just giving them the puck and then retreating and saying, all right, come try again.
Yep.
So I think the biggest thing going into this little elephant we're going to talk about is, the ice seemed to be tilted towards middle of the third period. Like, I don't know who said it exactly. I guess it was Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. I believe it was Vitale who said, and as soon as he said it, I looked at my wife and I said, there's the kiss of death. He said, the Blues are going to play the long game. They're going to dump the puck in, get a change, and they're just trying to play to win. And as soon as he said that, I looked at her and I said, this game is not going to favor for the Blues. And no shit, with 0.5 of a second left in third period, the Blues do what we figured was going to happen at some point. I know Blues fans aren't going to want to say this out loud, but boy, we were holding our breaths for the last 20 seconds of the game. They allow a third period goal to tie the game. And this is the most controversial things that's happened in the NHL so far, I believe, because I heard the Spittin' Chickens talk about it. I heard a lot of the Blues podcasts that are other than ours, although I believe ours is the best, talk about it. But there was some goaltender interference, and you could see on the Blues face Jim Montgomery and definitely Steve Ott. We mentioned him in the podcast. I think he said, "You've got to be effing kidding me." There was some goal interference, and this is the cool thing about the NHL now that we've kind of like moved into technology is we didn't have to do a coach's challenge. We didn't have to. It was a challenge by the league. I believe any goal that's scored under a minute is immediately reviewed by the league. If If I'm wrong, quote me on that, Sam. I know you're our resident
rules expert.
statistician.
You can look it up.
So please quote me on that. But I believe that they're all reviewed. But they go to the review, and even Vitale was like, "This is going to favor the Blues. Like, there's goaltender interference." Bernie Federico, I believe, went on to say that he was wrong because I think him and Vitale were going at it post game, but there was some goaltender interference. He was moving blocker side. He was definitely in the paint. Eberle, I would say, is a dirtier player. Tends to get up in the crease. Tends to get in people's kitchen. He moves blocker side. Hofer, it squeaks in blocker side. Does that prevent him from making the save? We're not goaltenders. I'm not going to try to be a goaltender here, but from a fan perspective, immediately that's goaltender interference. Blues win the game 3-2. It does not fare that way. They go to review. It's deemed that it is a good goal. Blues fans, I'm sure, are MFing the Zebras that are on the ice. We then go to OT, and in Blues fashion, it only lasts about 2 minutes. I think we maybe had possession of the puck for 10 seconds.
I don't think we touched it.
Nope. Yeah,
I think we touched it a little bit, but we didn't have it enough.
The Blues got to like second base. Is that what you're saying?
Who's on first? What's on second? Braden Shin, Colton Parayko cross each other up on a 3-on-3 scenario. Somebody missed their guy. He's able to squeak on in, and I believe he goes low glove or high glove. I can't remember which one.
He goes low glove.
And it squeaks on by. Blues are it's a deflating feeling. Either way, I can't talk. It sucks to feel. It sucks to feel that way, especially from the fan, because like, damn it, we were in it the whole time. I can't imagine what it is to feel like at loss as a player, considering if you're Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Colton Parayko, basically 75% of the roster. You just felt that 15 games ago, last game of the playoffs. To have that game kind of taken out of your grasps. I don't know how to feel, but what's your guys' perspective before we fast forward through this?
Well, the good part about that game, and there were some good points. I know, I get that, there were some calls that were missed in that game. We're playing against the refs and the Kraken. That's going to happen. Every team goes through it. I'm not going to fault the refs for us losing. And neither are the players, neither would that organization. They wouldn't do that.
That's the most adult thing I think I've ever heard you say.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Jacob. I mean, yeah, it hurt. I mean, I was pissed. I was slamming the door. I was really upset about what happened. The call, we covered it before the podcast. I think it should have been a goalie interference. I don't know how Toronto missed it. I think they missed it. Other people have a different view, a different point of view on that deal. I want to touch on this because Joel Hofer he attempted to shoot it into the empty net once, missed by a couple feet, maybe not even that. He had a second opportunity just after that because he played the puck behind the net again, and he decided to throw it up the boards instead of going for the empty net once again. I think he was trying to keep us away from a face-off in his end because I think his boys were gassed. So I think that's why he did that. Smart move by Joel Hofer. I like that move. I know a lot of guys, a lot of fans out there don't realize that, but I think that's why he did what he did.
He has a goalie goal.
Yeah, he's got one already. But yeah, he didn't miss by much. It's just, here we go again. We're in overtime. We don't get possession of the puck to even shoot it on the net. We get a couple guys that get crossed up in OT and 3-on-3. And listen, these guys practice 3-on-3 every day. They're on the ice in practice. They practice it every day. This stuff should not happen. That was unacceptable by those two guys. That shouldn't have happened. You stick with your man and that's it. It's pretty simple. They don't play a zone whenever they get whenever the other team is in our defensive end. It's all man on man for the most part. I don't know what happened. All I know is that they got crossed up and then the puck's in the net and then, Blues fans are going home. So kind of a shitty way to end the night. But like I said, I think there were some positives in that game. We got a point, right? I mean, we got a point. So we didn't come out with a goose egg.
That's 3 of our last 4 with points.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere. We're still in the bottom of the league. I mean, I could go over the stats of our team, and it's alarming. I don't know if you've seen them lately, Jacob, but I pulled them up today, and I'm like, this is, it's alarming. The stats for overall in the league for our team. But here we go. We got another game coming up. What's today? Tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow night's the veterans game. The salute to our veterans. So hopefully they can put on a good show for our veterans, and we can come out with a victory, and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, Blues play again one of the worst teams in hockey against one of the worst teams in hockey. So this should be on ESPN if I'm being honest. Jacob, anything to add about the Kraken game?
I'll touch on the goalie interference just because. I mean, and I have no experience on officiating hockey, but I have tons of experience on officiating soccer. And there's a call in soccer that can be very similar to goaltender interference, and it's offsides. There is no like blue paint in soccer, like an area where you're not allowed to go. But you can be, if one of your teammates is taking a shot, you can be in an offside position when that shot is taken. And if it's deemed that you affected the goalie in some way, then you are considered offsides. And then that would result, if that shot goes in, you're off of it. You don't even have to touch the ball, which is kind of similar to this one here. But he didn't touch the puck, but he was kind of affecting the goalie. So I think the big thing here is, I think Toronto, instead of trying to judge, did this guy affect Joel Hofer? Because he absolutely affected him. Like, that contact affects you, whatever. Instead of making that their judgment was, well, even though that was there, could he still have made the save? And that's not the judgment call that you have to make. Because then what if it's a shitty goalie? What if it's some AHL goalie and you're like, no, he'd probably never make the save? Or what if you have, prime Brodeur in there? Then you're like, oh, well, he probably could have made it. Okay, so the judgment is never on how good the goalie is. And that's kind of what their judgment there was. Was he affected by that player being in that illegal position and making that illegal contact? Well, yeah, he would have been affected by it. Whether he could have made the save or not shouldn't have been in consideration of what that should be. I also think the NHL is scared to do the opposite of what the call on the ice was. They don't want to kind of ruin the integrity of the officials on the ice. And since they called it on the ice, they want something clear and obvious to be able to take it away. And that, I thought, was pretty clear and obvious, but I guess not clear and obvious enough for them to reverse it.
No, I agree.
Yep.
Before we get crazy, let's touch on some of these ad reads. If you're in the mood for Scooter's Coffee, which you all should be because it's delicious, you can scoot on around to our drive-thrus on Highway 143 in Chalksville Way in Highland, or Vandalia Street and Indiana Avenue in Collinsville, or any of our 30 locations in the greater St. Louis area. It's amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Scooter's Coffee. We have Hughes Custom Design. Again, I changed my backdrop this year, and that's on me. I apologize, but usually there's a blue sign hanging up. Hughes Custom Design is a family-owned and operated small business out of Maryville, Illinois. They specialize in laser hand-cut painted signs. They have options typically upon request and can complete almost any request for custom job. I love that sign. It lights up with an LED on the back. Perfect for any man cave, office, you name it, whatever. That's Hughes Custom Design. And then we have Imprint Labs. I'm not going to do the ad read. I'm going to have Jacob do it, but I'm going to give my little testimonial. These guys right here, these little, my hair's a perfect hair day. These guys right here, these hats are legit. I had 3 made for me by our buddies over at Imprint Labs. I always like wearing a hat. They just don't do hats. They do quarter zips, hoodies, koozies, coasters. There's a mouse pad that's currently being used by our host. They do it all, and it's legit. It's high quality items. Jacob said if you have shit and you want it on shit, get shit done.
They're your people.
They're your people. I love the hats. I wear them all the time now. Get your stuff at Imprint Labs. Send a message over their way, and they'll get it done for you. It's going to come out really, really awesome.
I'll add for Hughes Custom Design, Steve, who won our giveaway online for the Hughes Custom Design blue sign, received it the other day, and he sent me a message, and he goes, "It looks awesome." And then I was like, "Cool, like thanks." And he said he was going to post it on Facebook. And then he sent another message. He goes, "I didn't realize it would light up." Like, he didn't know that it had the LED lights on the back, so he was pretty excited to get it. So yeah, he's got Hughes Custom Design, got the basic, blue notes, but just really, I mean, anything custom that you need. I see he posts a lot of pictures of like youth baseball teams that he's doing, or any youth sport logos, or anything like that. So if you've got like a kid's bedroom or something you're working on, and you want, whatever your youth baseball team logo, or youth soccer team, or youth hockey team, whatever it is, they could definitely set you up there. And so could Imprint Labs. They all could. And then whenever you're like, man, I'm buying all this stuff, I need some coffee, then you go to Scooters.
It's a one-stop shop. All right, so now I feel like we should get in some crazy talk. I had Joel Hofer bounce back, but I feel like we touched on that when we went over the games. The first thing I want to touch on, and it's kind of a parallel to Teach Me How to Doug, so we're going to end up going to Teach Me How to Doug in just a second, but I want to kind of piggyback on this question with that, is Logan Mailloux is now an AHLer. So I would say that was kind of a surprise to all of us fans, because when you think about Logan Mailloux, the guy that you like, it's kind of like the devil and the angel, the devil being Mailloux and then the angel being Zach Bolduc. Damn, it's like, okay, so Mailloux's in the AHL. You're like, okay, so where's Zach Bolduc? Oh, he's not in the AHL. So kind of like it kind of runs a little bit of a pissed off energy through us fans. What is your guys' perspective of seeing that come through the waves? I got that message on Facebook, and I was like, oh, shit, it's actually happening. What was your perspective of finding out that Mailloux's down to the AHL?
So I don't know a lot about Mailloux. How old is he?
I believe he's 22.
22. Okay. See, he's young. He's got his whole career ahead of him. I agree with the move, because I think they're trying to get him ice time. They're trying to get him NHL ready. I think they felt like that he wasn't going to be getting a lot of ice time up here, and down there they could get him a lot of ice time and really take a good look at him and see where he fits in on this team. Mm-hmm. So they're going to give him some time down there and get him a lot of ice time. I mean, yeah, right. Him for Zach Bolduc. There was some other people involved in that trade, weren't there?
No, I believe it was just straight
up.
Yeah,
just those two. Yep, just straight up.
I mean, we know what Zach Bolduc brings to the team, to a team. It's just unfortunate that sometimes moves like these, regardless of what the fans feel, because they are emotionally invested in this team. And regardless of what the fans feel, the Blues felt like this is a good move for them to move forward with the future of this team. Mm-hmm. And you've got to give up a good player, obviously, to get another good player. So hopefully, I think, in my opinion, I think it's just too early to tell how this is going to work out, right? You got to give these kids a couple of years. We'll talk about it in a couple of years, and we'll see where things are at, where they're at, where he's at, and then we can kind of form an opinion about where you think his upside is going to be in the future. But I think they both have great upside. So that's kind of my take. I just feel like the Blues made a move that they felt was good for him right now. Because when it's all said and done, it's got to be good for the team. It's got to be good for him as well. So I think it's just about ice time, I believe.
What's your thoughts on this, Jacob, before we get into the Teach Me How to Doug?
Zachary Bolduc has 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points so far this year. For comparison, Nick Bjugstad has 4 goals and 1 assist. So we see the potential that Zach Bolduc has, and I know he was lighting it up to begin the year, and it was all over, Blues fans were posting it. It's like, oh my God, he scored 2 goals in the first game or whatever. I don't know. He's doing something really impressive on the power play. And we saw how good that shot could be last year. So I know we're disappointed in the potential, but he's not playing like at a superstar level. He's obviously playing better than Logan Mailloux, because we had to send Logan Mailloux down. So I'm not saying that we are winning this trade as of right now. We're definitely losing it right now. There's no doubt about that. But we're not like getting blown out of the water. Okay. We also, Buffalo lost, quote unquote, lost the Ryan O'Reilly trade, but Tage Thompson's turned out pretty well for them. So, like but you know, I think Mike's kind of hit it on the head of you got to give it time. And especially for a 22-year-old defenseman, like the fact that Broberg is playing up and has been playing up in the NHL for so long is something that, you know, doesn't happen very often, but he's also a top 10 pick. Like Mailloux was 31. And I know there were some off the ice issues, which made him go down so far, maybe even 32. But he definitely wasn't top 10. And if you're not in the top 10 picks, then you're going to wait a couple years. I mean, just look at Jiricek and even Lindstein. Like we picked them years ago, and we're not expecting them to still be up for another, I think 2 years is I think our kind of expectation for them. And they're right around 2021 right now. So
this brings me to my Teach Me How to Doug. If you want to hit the old cue.
Get the music going. Mike, have you heard the music?
No.
It's amazing.
All right, you're in the chair now. Let's see if you got what it takes to run the Blues. Teach me how to Doug. Teach me how to Doug. You're the GM now. Make a trade, make a plug. Cap space tight, but the roster's got a bug. So show us what you got. Teach me how to Doug. Sign them, trade them, send them down to the A. Build a cup team like it's Judgment Day. You got picks, you got cash. Can you make a splash or crash? Better know your lines and match, because fans don't want to see a playoff collapse.
Playoff collapse.
All right, so the Teach Me How to Doug, and I feel like Logan May has been a reoccurring guest on the Teach Me How to Doug, but we were going to go a different direction this time around. So my question to you is, put yourself in the GM chair. Sorry, my dogs are trying to kill each other. If you hear that on the podcast, no, we don't do dog fighting. This is not Michael Vick's house. My apologies. The question for you is, knowing what you know now about Logan Mailloux, yes, he just went down to the AHL, so this is kind of a sour subject. Would you, in the offseason, still go out and make the trade for Zach Bolduc to Montreal and Mailloux to St. Louis, knowing what you know now? Or would you have stayed put, knowing that you would have eventually brought up Matthew Kessel and some of your guys in the AHL that have been cooking for a little bit? Would you have made that decision still? Or would you have held tight and kind of kept Zach Bolduc on the roster and tried to maybe offload him at the trade deadline in the coming season? That would obviously mean that you're not getting a Bukestad or like a Pius Suter. Like that would have obviously kind of held you in the position of being more I would say you would have stayed put in the offseason. Knowing what you know now about Mailloux, would you have still gone ahead and been like, all right, he's going to be a useful, addition at some point? Or would you have not made any acquisitions, kept Bolduc, and obviously, gone about it that way? Would you have still done it?
Like I stated earlier, I think at the time the Blues saw a need, and maybe it wasn't for this season, but they saw a need for somebody of his stature down the road. I would have still made that deal because, like I said earlier too, you have to give up somebody to get somebody of value on your team.
Even though you have a Kessel who has proven already that he can play that position. I mean, Mailloux is currently down in the AHL and Kessel's up.
I don't know what his thought process was going into that deal. Okay. Maybe he knew some insider information about a possible injury that may have kept somebody out. Okay. Maybe this was injury driven. I don't know who. I'm just throwing it out there. I still would have made that move because I think they're trying to build youth for the future. And I think this was a good way to grab somebody that has a tremendous upside without giving up more than one player. So that's kind of my take on that. I'm not a GM, never have, never could be, because I'm too emotional with my team. Because If you'd asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would have said fire everybody and start over. But I'm not running a fantasy team. And by the way, I'm going to kick the shit out of you this week.
So you are running a fantasy team.
Sure.
But
now
yeah,
we talk about
that's
it.
kind of. I mean, I don't like the move because I love Bolduc. I love the style of player he is. I love physical guys. I do. I just need to give it some time to see if this is all going to work out in our favor or not. And if it's a toss up, then great. You know, both teams win. But I don't think we're going to know that answer for a little while yet.
I'm fucking impatient.
Yeah,
Most Blues fans are.
Yeah, I know they are. They want to win now.
We waited 50-something years for a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And then we're probably going to have to wait another 50. I mean, I feel like I'm the Chicago Blackhawks or Chicago Cubs fan of the NHL.
Yeah.
Like some people lived their entire life never seeing a World Series.
Yeah.
I had to wait 50. Well, I had to wait 20-something years. So
Yeah.
it's just I feel like we want to see the production. We see Zach Bolduc. He could have scored one goal, and Blues fans would have been throwing a fit.
Yeah.
I was. I'm okay. I'm that fan that's a little unhinged. We all know that I can say some unhinged comments on this podcast, but I was just curious, kind of your thought. I know you're more of a let's wait back and see. You're more of a reserved fan than I am, but Jacob, do you have anything to add to this before I jump into the second topic of conversation?
I think Mayu's potential is still high. Like, I still think you can still see him as a potential top 4 defenseman. And that's where the Blues kind of lacked as far as, you know, having that in the system. They had Jiricek, but with his injuries, you didn't really know. And then you had Lindstein, but he's on the left side. So you didn't really have a right side top 4 potential defenseman. So I think that was kind of a trigger for making the move. I will say, knowing what we know now that we know that, you know, Mayu's not at the NHL level yet, is there a possibility of getting him for less? Like, is there a possibility of saying, hey, instead of Bolduc, what if you took Pekarsik and Sundqvist? We'll give you those two, kind of thing. So I think I still make the potential. But dude, I don't know if it's just a potential base. Like, I think Montreal wanted a young player in return that also had high potential because they needed to replace the potential of Mayu, but they also wanted someone that could help them now. And I don't really have anyone other than, I mean, it would have had to have been Bolduc. It probably would have had to have been Neighbors. I don't even know if they would have wanted Dvorsky, because I think Dvorsky is still not necessarily like 100% ready, but it doesn't, or it looks like based on play now, he's closer than Mayu is. Yeah, just knowing what I know now, the only thing I would say is, could we get him for less?
I agree. That's a really good point.
Yeah, didn't think about that. Good point, Jacob.
All right, so this one is going to be – I like this conversation, or at least this topic, because I feel like it opens up a lot of avenues to be either pissed off or excited. Oh, Mariah's saying hello.
Hello, sweetheart.
So the second topic I wanted to bring up, and I think it's going to be cool no matter what, because there are some good things to talk about, but there's some bad things too. The Blues currently right now have the 11th ranked power play. 11th ranked. Okay? Not bad. Considering the circumstances of being 31st in the NHL, hey, I'll take it. Bad part. We are currently ranked 29th in penalty kill. So we might be scoring goals, but we're also letting in a few too. First thing I want to touch on is power play. What do you feel like has changed? And I know that was something that was a growing pain last year, was our power play. How we set up, who we used. I know we talked about Zach Bolduc like 2 minutes ago, but he was a focal point in a lot of our power play goals. We would set him up in the slot. He'd slap it home. Blues are, yipping and yaying. Now we're missing that lethal threat of a slot player. Now you enter a Dalibor Dvorsky who's going to be setting up on the right dot. You got Jimmy Snuggerud on the left. Do you feel like they've added some lethal weapons to their first line? Oh, I cannot talk. First line. And what do you think they've done well this year on the power play? I'll start with you, Dad.
I don't look at their power play close enough. I'll make a general statement. I think between last year and this year, I don't know what changes they made. Like I said, I'm not that. I don't stay on top of that they're special teams. It looks to me like they're getting more. They're trying to shoot the puck more. They're not playing with it as much as they used to last year. Now, is that going to contribute to more goals? I mean,
Hasn't yet.
Yeah, it hasn't yet. Give it some time. It's gotta they gotta be seasoned a little bit. I think he's doing some lineup switch and swapping too. I mean, he's doing some changing here and there. So you got different guys in the lineup. You're obviously going to change that. You're going to change your power play units as well. I like the power play so far. I want to see them continue to shoot more and not pass as much, because I think, so what happens is, when you're sitting there playing with the puck at the blue line, you're going to get probably a couple guys moving into that lane to block that shot. Mm-hmm. So I get why they're going to try to move the puck a little bit, but I would like to see them take a few more shots than they have been. Overall, I'm happy with their power play. I think in time it's going to come. Power play is a lot about opportunity and getting a crowd in front of the net. That's when good things happen. And I think if we continue to crash the front of the net, I think some good things are going to happen. We're going to get some lucky bounces. It's just going to be, if and when.
Jacob, what's your 2 cents on the old power play unit?
I think one of the weird things and I don't really focus on I don't watch other teams very often, but the weird thing I see about our power play is it's not run from the point. It's run from Robert Thomas on the left wing there. And Vitale always says it every game, like they're looking to get it to Thomas over there on the left. And so that way he can play it across, whether it's swinging all the way to Dvorsky on the far side or tucking it into the middle where Bolduc used to be. But that seems to be a different strategy than I think most teams kind of run. And I just don't know if it's necessarily working yet, because it's really hard to get that pass from Robert Thomas all the way to the other side of the ice. So you're kind of limiting yourself to, I think, kind of half the ice. And again, I have no coaching aspect or anything like that. I've also noticed that teams aren't afraid to just let Robert Thomas skate in and let him shoot, because instead of shooting at a full net, you're off to the side, maybe even below the face-off dot there. And so you don't have much of an angle. So they're like, you know what, Robert, if you want to go one-on-one with the goalie, go ahead, but we're not going to let you pass it. And Robert's not able to finish that. So they're not really worried about that process. So at least at the point, if you give that open lane, like you're going to take a couple steps, hit a slap shot. Now you're shooting on the full net because you're right in front of it. They're just kind of letting Robert just skate into that space and giving it to him, and he's trying to stuff it in, and I haven't seen it work yet.
Yeah, I find teams playing that diamond formation, they might be called something else in NHL terms, but they clog that middle of the ice. Like they're easily collapsing on the goaltender to where he's not making that seam pass. He's not going from face-off dot to maybe right point or face-off dot to face-off dot. They're just clogging that middle of the area or that ice where that area is like super crucial. I mean, Ovechkin made his money on that face-off dot, and if Thomas is trying to find like our Ovechkin, like a Dalibor Dvorsky or Jimmy Snuggerud, they're going to clog that area. And you've seen it more and more. This season is they're clogging that middle of the ice, and they're already having 2 or 3 guys up on top, and we're now going on a 3-on-2 breakaway shorthanded, or 2-on-1 because now we can't get a second guy back, and. I don't know what we've gotten for shorthanded goals. I know Matthew Joseph just scored one for us, but you just can't allow that to happen. You talk about a deflating feeling. Allowing a shorthanded goal when you're on the power play is probably, I would say, probably the worst feeling to think, because you have a man up. Like, just utilize it. Puck possession, keep the puck down low. They always talk about Gretzky's office. Use the trapezoid. Set up shop. Have 2 forwards crash the net down below. Set up the shot in the middle of the ice. But that's rather here nor there. Let's talk about the bad part, is the fact that the Blues are 29th ranked in penalty kill. Now, obviously, I believe this is a small sample size. We've only played, 15, 16 games this year, 15.
Mhm.
And it's no secret. The Blues goals against are huge. They're very high up in that statistic. We've allowed too many goals to go through the net. What do you feel the Blues are doing when it comes to the penalty kill that are allowing other teams to just capitalize? I'll let you tee this one off, and then I'll give it to Jake.
Hey, I'm going to try to fix my TV real quick, but keep talking.
Okay. All right. Fix it up. As far as the penalty kill goes, I don't really try to dissect that either. I think they have the right people on the ice, the right guys on the ice to do a good job. I just think sometimes that maybe we need to take a look at maybe somebody that we don't normally see out there on the penalty kill. Somebody that can get out to the top there and maybe get a little closer. Maybe keep the puck up by the blue line and keep it from going down low. I don't know who that guy is, but I think that maybe they need to look at other personnel that maybe you wouldn't see out there killing a penalty.
I noticed. I can't remember what game I watched, but we took a penalty. And the first line they sent out there, and I'm going to give you the forwards, and I believe it was Justin Falk as a D, but it was Nathan Walker and Nick Bukestad as part of your I would say first or second PK unit. I don't remember which one it was, but those guys were on the ice. You had Nathan Walker and Nick Bukestad, basically a small tree and an evergreen, basically on the PK. So you have Nick Bukestad and Nathan Walker on your PK unit. What are we doing to be sufficient enough on the PK to, one, not only take away scoring chances, and not bagging on Nick Bukestad and Nathan Walker. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's a better unit that you can stick out there. I know those guys are in an energy line. They're constantly in on the forecheck. They're forcing guys to make turnovers. But what is our PK unit's job? Is it to stop the puck or is it to get chances? Because right now they're not getting either one of them. We're getting in front of block shots, but we're doing that 5-on-5. We're not doing that 5-on-4. So are we just the Blues MO just escape them when it comes to the PK? Because I see guys jumping in front of pucks left and right on 5-on-5, but 5-on-4, we're allowing them to kind of collapse. Well, the Blues don't do that on the power play. Teams always collapse against the Blues. They work up high, and then as soon as the puck goes down below, you see those defensemen pinching in. They're probably even with the faceoff dot. And then we kind of work it back and then work it up. We're forcing them to collapse. So what are we doing wrong? How do we stop teams from scoring on us 5-on-4? Jacob, you got anything?
If I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would probably be making millions of dollars coaching the St. Louis Blues, maybe, which would be awesome. That'd be cool. I don't really know. Like, I'm really not sure because I there's no easy way for me to connect it to soccer, which is like my easy thing to do. It's just got to be, I don't know, get the puck out more. It's all the things that, and this is the crazy stuff is, you hear Vitali say that we got to do this, or they made that mistake, or they made that mistake. And if he's noticing it, you got to think the coaching staff is noticing it, but then why does it keep happening? I guess is probably the biggest issue is we keep doing things wrong and continuously, and it doesn't seem to get any better. It doesn't matter if we're able to squeak out games. If we get in order to make the playoffs, if we get to the playoffs and we're a team that is 20th or worse in penalty kill percentage, then you can't win playoffs without a good power play and a good penalty kill. So if we can squeak games out now and make the playoffs, that would be great. But we're just going to lose round one because we're going to go up against the Minnesota Wild, who has Kaprizov and is going to dominate us, or the Winnipeg Jets, who has Kyle Connor, who's going to dominate us, or maybe the Chicago Blackhawks, who have Bedard because they're playing pretty well to start the year. So everybody has that superstar that can score, and we have Jordan Kyrou. who is a really good player that can score, but he's just not a superstar.
Yeah, that's a good point. We hopefully will be getting some more power play goals and some hopefully goals in general. So before we end the podcast, I want to play a little game. It's everyone's favorite game to play. No, it's not Hurdle. It is the other one. It is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? 3 names, 1 clue. Can you play? Is it first? Is it third? What's the team? What's the word? Better drop the puck. Guess right or sway. Left wing, center, right on the dot. Can you name the squad or are you caught? From Boston Ice to Calgary Flame. Do you know the line or just the name? 3 players, 1 team, 1 shot to get it right. Whose line is it anyway?
Yes,
Boom.
just like the music said, we're going to give you 3 players. We're going to give you a left wing, center, and right wing. Your job is to tell us what team they play for and what line they are on. All right, you ready?
Oh my god!
I'm going to keep it easy. I decided, hey, I'm going to go. You talked some shit about beating me in fantasy hockey. Now we're going to go into the vault and see how much you know about NHL players and teams. All right, you ready? So I'm going to give you the first set of players. You got Steven Stamkos, Fedorov Svechnikov. I'm butchering this dude's name, but you know it's okay. And then we got Jonathan Marchessault, Stamkos, Svechnikov. Fucking Christ! I'm sorry. And then you got Jonathan Marchessault.
Oh my god!
Give me the team first. Let's work on the team first.
I'm terrible at this.
That's okay.
I'll be honest.
We'll
with you.
talk you through it. We'll talk you through it. And Jacob,
I know that Stamkos does not play for the Lightning anymore.
that is true. That is
I
true.
know that Marchessault has been traded too.
He went to the dark side.
Yeah. Oh,
And Jacob,
God.
you can use Jacob as a phone a friend. He'll give you some clues along the way.
I'm terrible at this. I really am.
All right, let's start. Do you think it's
Yeah.
in the East or the West?
It's going to be in the East.
Oh, okay.
No?
Strike one.
Oh, well, see? Well, it shows you how much
You go, oh,
So it's
okay,
a, it's a
so
Western
It's West.
West. So,
okay.
so we're narrowing it down to 16 teams already. We're off to a hot start. So 16
All right.
teams you gotta negotiate with. All right.
Okay.
Do you believe that it's in the Central Division or not? Is it the Central or no?
No.
Okay, strike 2.
Strike 2.
Okay,
Who?
so now we're in the Central Division. So now we've narrowed it down to 8 teams. Of those 8 teams in the Central Division, who do you think Jonathan Marchessault plays for?
Blackhawks.
Holy shit. Strike 3.
See?
this team prefers country music.
Yes.
Oh, Predators?
Nashville, right. There we go. Look at the phone a friend. Look at the phone a friend. All right, so now we narrowed it down to what are we supposed to do?
I know.
Am I supposed to tee it up for you? All right.
No.
So we've decided it's Nashville. Of Nashville's 4 lines, what is this line? First, second, third, or fourth?
Oh, I would say it had to be the first.
Again, we are strike 5.
not?
It is not their first line.
Jeez.
It is not their first line.
I got to watch more hockey.
No shit. What do we got?
Yeah.
First line, no. So now you've got 33% chance of getting it.
That's quick math.
Okay. Let's go second line.
Second line. Look, we have reached the finish line.
Yeah.
I need
It is
a
Nashville.
I need a
Second
ding
line.
ding ding on here. Hold on, wait.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I'm.
Hey.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate that. I think the only other thing I could have gotten on a hint was you just wrote it down on a piece of paper.
All right. So now we are down to the second team, right? Second team. Here's the line.
Okay, gosh, here we go.
We got Jason Robertson, Rope Hintz, and Tyler Seguin. I just love that you know nothing.
Yeah. I do.
So, okay,
Uh,
just talk about it. After Tyler played for Boston, where did he go?
Didn't he go to the Dallas Stars?
Holy shit, we're already making solid progress.
Thank you. Gotcha.
So, He went to Dallas. So you're dealing with the Dallas Stars.
Correct,
Of
yep.
Dallas's 4 lines, what do we got? First, second, third, or fourth?
Before you answer,
Yeah.
roll with the ball.
Like the Broncos.
What do we got?
I'm gonna go third line.
Oh, shit. Nope.
Nope.
Not the third. Not the third.
Second.
There we go. Yes. I like to follow some sort of streaks. I like to keep it simple.
yeah.
Second line the first time.
Should have
Second.
went with my gut. My
I-
gut was telling me second, but I'm like, oh, that can't be.
All right. So now, you ready for the third team?
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me.
It is first guy we're going to mention, left wing, Tommy Novak.
Oh, boy.
Center, Evgeny Malkin. Right wing, Anthony Manta.
Really?
Really? What?
Pittsburgh?
Oh, hey, look at you. Okay. See, but look, it started off hard, got easier. It got easier, right? I really did think you were gonna get the national one. So you
No,
did say keep it easy
That
because
was
you.
absolutely brutal.
Oh bullshit.
That
So Pittsburgh. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
first, second, third, or fourth.
Fourth.
Holy fuck! I gave you a hint.
Malkin?
Fourth line, Malkin.
Yeah, maybe I went a little too low.
Okay, fourth line. Okay, so now we've narrowed it down to the top 3.
Okay.
What do we got?
I would say second line.
Look at you. We keep it.
Keep the
Yes.
streak alive.
Keep it going. All right. So now there it is. Whose line is it anyway? Ate your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that's okay. That's why we play the game. We had an absolute blast, Jacob, doing this podcast together. I had fun. Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, always have a good time.
Always a
thanks for
blast.
having me. Appreciate it.
But before we let you go, we need to mention a couple of things, little housekeeping notes. If you don't know where to get your coffee, you came to our place. You got to go to Scooter's Coffee. If you're missing something,
you
for your bathroom,
If you came to
your
a
man
hockey
cave,
podcast to figure out where to get hockey, this is it.
Yeah.
You figured this is it. You found the right one.
that's it. If you're missing something for your man cave or just anything or a nice little Christmas gift, because we are heading that way, Hughes Custom Design and Imprint Labs. Like I said, I'm going to stroke them off again on this podcast. The best hats around. And also Hughes Custom Design, making those laser hand-cutted painted signs. If you need it, you got it. You came to the right place. We're going to get your holiday Christmas shopping done just for that. And again, Dad, thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with Jacob and I.
Yeah,
Before we let you go, can you give us one thing? Can you give us a Let's Go Blues?
absolutely. Let's go Blues!
All right, guys, we'll get out of here.
Nice.